love for the game. Got love for the.
Let's talk about it. I cut social media off in 2020. I think around this time, the whole pandemic thing was going on, and I was starting grad school the following year. And a lot of people were telling me, like, bro, you just graduated with your bachelor's. Like, you don't want to take a break from school because you've been in school for quite some while. You don't want to just give it a year to see if grad school is something you actually want to do. Like 2021, I was in grad school for my master's. Like, there was a method behind that madness though. At this time, I started just getting bad vibes around this time where it was just like we were in the matrix, and it was a feeling that I couldn't shake. It felt like we just kept repeating the same things. A calamity would happen in the world, and then we'd go on social media and talk about it, and everybody would get riled up and hold protests and things of that nature. Then something else would happen and take our mind off of it. Then probably a couple weeks or a couple months later, another calamity would happen. And what do? We go right back to social media to talk about it, give our thoughts, concerns, whatever the case may be. For me, in my opinion, it was just a lot of wasted energy. And I felt like if I'm going into grad school, you got to be locked in, you got to be focused. I felt like personally, I can't have no social media. At the time, X was actually Twitter, Instagram still Instagram, and Facebook. I cut Facebook off 10th grade in high school because I felt like I needed to focus on my basketball career. Like, I took basketball very serious coming up. Like, I'm talking about waking up 5 a.m. to catch a city bus to go to the school that I went to across town just for varsity practice in the morning, like conditioning. Like, I took basketball very serious at this time. So 10th grade, I cut Facebook off. So around 2020, when I was making my jump off of social media, I didn't have to worry about Facebook. 2017, 2018-ish, I cut Snapchat off. So with me cutting social media off from starting to 10th grade all the way to 2017, 2018-ish, cutting Snapchat off leading up to 2020, where I finally said, you know what, Twitter and Instagram has to go. One of the first things I thought of before deleting social media every single time I did it was, man, I hope I don't miss anything. But by this time around 2020, I was grown enough and mature enough to understand that I'm not gonna miss anything. There's certain things that happen in life that if you pay attention to it, you can kind of peep a cycle going on, right? So for me, I peeped the cycle. I felt like we were in a matrix. Whatever was popping on social media at the time, we're gonna give it all our attention. We're gonna speak on it profusely, and then we'll wait for the next big thing. So with me kind of knowing this cycle, I feel like I could foreshadow what's gonna happen. I'm the type of guy that I do things cold turkey. Like, I don't try to wean off of it. If I make my mind up about something, I just cut it off. I remember the day when I actually decided to deactivate both accounts. I sent like messages, DMs, on both apps to people that, you know, who know me in real life. I said, hey, I'm deactivating my account because I'm going into grad school and I feel like I'm gonna have to focus. So I'm not gonna be on social media anymore. If you want to reach me, shoot me a text or give me a phone call or FaceTime me, whatever the case may be. If you got my number, you're Gucci. That's how you can reach me from now on. I'm not gonna be on social media. I did not let 2021 usher in having social media. I cut that off in 2020. When 2021 came about, you know, I went some time without social media and I just was like, okay, I can do this. Now, mind you, my program at the time was 2 years. It was a master's program. It was 2 years. When people kept asking, yo, what are you up to? Where you been at? I just let them know, hey, I'm getting my master's. And, you know, it was a lot of congratulations, a lot of, okay, do your thing. I kept my head down. I stayed focused. I was working at the time. And this would be the first time I actually get a job in education. I became a teacher at a private school during this time. So a lot of things were looking up for me. But one of the main takeaways I can say about this time for me of taking a break from social media, I was really locked in, and I was putting feet on land. I was going outside. I was just taking in the whole city from a different perspective. I was meeting new people, making different connections, and these connections were pure. It was pure interactions, pure interactions. One of the things that was like reoccurring for me a lot of the times during me taking this hiatus was, people would ask for my social media handle and go, yeah, what's your Instagram? Let me look you up and let me follow you. And I don't have social media. They would always look at me like, what's wrong with this guy? The looks that I would get was kind of like, they were side eyeing me like, something's off with this guy. But as far as interaction, that was the only con of it all. The looks people would give me when I tell them, no, I don't have social media. But I took the hiatus. My master's program was just 2 years. So from 2021 to 2023, I did not have social media. But what I did have was YouTube. I don't count YouTube as social media because there's so many educational things you can go find on YouTube, and you can filter out what you want to see, what you don't want to see. Social media is just, to be honest, specifically like those popular apps that y'all be on, it's just garbage. It's just recycled garbage. It's brain rot. It's microwavable McDonald's mental food for thought. It don't serve you no purpose. And the fact that there's mechanisms like liking things or reposting things or commenting on things that can give you a certain validation. Some of these things also are on YouTube, but I don't know. I just don't count YouTube as social media, to be honest. But nonetheless, my hiatus wasn't just me not knowing what was hip, what was going on. One thing YouTube did for me, it kept me in the know. It kept me hip to like trends or what's going on in popular culture. But one thing about YouTube is I don't have to go back and forth with people. I don't have to post. I can just watch, sort of like in an incognito mode without feeling like a creep. Because on YouTube, if you don't post anything but you subscribe to multiple channels that you favor and you like the content, you really could just be a viewer. On Instagram, if you have a profile or an account where you're just watching in the shadows, that's going to be certified creep activity. Same thing with a Twitter. If you never tweet, never post, never comment, but you're watching from the shadows, it can be considered as creep activity. But for YouTube, just entirely different. Back to me taking that hiatus from social media. 2023, I graduated with my master's. I sent the text out to a lot of folks that I stayed in contact with, my friends, acquaintances, my peers, because you were able to watch it online if you cannot make it in person. So my family showed up for the graduation in person. My mom was very excited. She told me, when you get this degree, you have to walk. You have to walk. Because the last degree I got, my bachelor's, it was during the pandemic. So I didn't get to walk. We did it online. But for this one, my mom said, you have to walk. I graduated in 2023. I started working at the private school. And I still decided to stay off of social media because I became so successful in my personal life without it. I found time to tend to my studies. I was more into the activities that I do for leisure, and my mental stimulation was more geared towards positivity. And some of the things that I spoke about in conversation, it was just great topical conversation. Like, I wanted to stay like that. I wanted to keep this feeling instead of going back to, thinking about what next Jordan release is gonna be out or what rapper is this and who and things of that nature. Like, it's one thing to be in pop culture and know some of these things, but it's another thing to be on an app going back and forth or giving your comments or reading comments and just scrolling up and down to where you swipe out of the app, go to your home screen, and then you tap the app again. You're in a matrix. You have to let it go. 2023 came and I graduated. I told myself, I don't know, I kind of like life without social media. Life has so much meaning. I'm outside. I don't know. It's just something about getting fresh air, not being in a matrix, not being in a cycle that I was really enjoying. So I I said, you know what? Let's stay off of social media. 2023 is here. I take up a position at this really, really good charter school. And then I got the bug. Like, I always got the bug to be better and greater than my current situation or the current state I'm in. I always want to elevate myself any way that I can. So 1 year after getting my master's, I started applying. It wasn't even 1 year. I started applying to PhD programs like a couple months after I got my master's. And I won't even say programs with an S. It was just one program I applied for. And I was so confident that I would get in that I did not apply anywhere else. So I applied to this program, right? And, you know, we have interviews. They call me back for a second interview to get into the program. And after a while, they came back with a decision and I was accepted into the program. So mind you, I got accepted into the program 2023 and I was supposed to be starting the program August of 2024, fall semester. So while that time was winding down, nothing in my mind told me to go get back on social media. I'm getting so much personal success that for me, getting back on Twitter, which is now X, or Instagram, I was like, something in my heart told me, I know I'm not missing anything. I know I'm not missing anything. So I stayed off of social media. 2024, I start my PhD program, which I'm currently in right now. While I'm in the PhD program, I told myself, if you survive 1 year of your PhD program, you should start creating content. I told myself you should create a channel where you give up and coming PhD students just like yourself tips and tricks of what you can do in grad school and what you shouldn't do in grad school, and just to help out the first years. With me being in my second year currently, once I get to my third year, I'll be giving tips and tricks to help out the second year PhD students in the specific program that I'm in. This is a goal that I try to hold myself to. And now that I completed 1 year, I told myself time to hit the ground running, and just to see what was going on with, you know, X and Instagram. I said, because I've been away for 5 years, let me go back and see what's actually going on Twitter, I'm at X, and Instagram. Because now that I am in content creation, I wanted to see if both platforms would be something that I can kind of use to amplify whatever video and content I'm creating on YouTube. I create an Instagram just to see what's going on. And I'm not gonna lie, I went and looked up some of the people that I've known for quite some while. Some of their handles didn't change. There's some people that I couldn't find. I couldn't find some people, but for the ones who handle didn't change, same old thing. Same, nothing changed. It was actually sad to go back and see that nothing's changed on that platform. Now, when I went to X, X was worse. Some of the people that I knew from back in the day that decided to do things with their life professionally, they was on X cutting up, just cutting up. It just, X is a wild place. You will say some of the wildest, egregious things on X. X now is just like, and somebody was getting me hip and up to speed to what was going on, one of my friends, and they're like, yeah, old boy, he got the freedom of speech, free speech thing going on there. So damn near back to the lawless times that we used to have on Twitter. But most of all, the thing that was sad to me was seeing how some of my peers did not grow up. It's been 5 years. Nobody actually achieved any goals. Nobody changed and grew. And it's just like, damn, y'all boys, we're old, bro. And it's sad for me to see during the pandemic, I hopped off of social media only to come back to create content on YouTube and say, let me see if social media might be a good thing that I can attach my content to. And nah, it's year 2025, 5 years later, I still think no social media is the best way to go. Currently, I'm a college professor between 2 universities. I'm still in my PhD program, which, you know, I think in about a year and a half, I should be ready to defend my dissertation. So I'll leave you with this. Cut social media off. If you're in your mid-20s and you're not promoting a business, you're not an artist or, anything of that nature, I'm telling you, the best thing you can do, cut social media off. It's a waste of time. You'll accomplish more without it. And it's a warped reality of what life really is. So do yourself a favor, cut it off now, and then your older self will thank your younger self for doing it. Trust me.
Growing up, I was doing all kinds of shit. Too many problems in my life I was trying to fix. Unaware, can't really explain if I was cognizant. I was more concerned with which block I was trying to spin.